In 1973, the Arab oil embargo plunged the Western world into a dire economic crisis, causing oil prices to skyrocket overnight and leading to unprecedented job losses and political unrest. Fast forward to 2026, and the echoes of that past crisis are eerily present. Iran's military operations have severely disrupted Gulf oil refining capacities, crippling an estimated 11 million barrels per day from global supply. Such a loss endangers around 20 million barrels of oil and petroleum products, which constitutes roughly 1/5 of global consumption. The ramifications extend further to liquefied natural gas exports from Qatar and the UAE, vital sources that represent 20% of global LNG trade. The analysts of yesteryear had confidently assured people that the 1973 crisis would be short-lived, but that was far from reality. Today, the forecasts are divided. Some experts predict a resolution in mere weeks, while others caution that complex negotiations between Iran and the U.S. could drag on indefinitely, creating an environment of uncertainty that is already inflicting damage. Other parts of the world are experiencing urgent repercussions, notably Bangladesh, where the government has imposed severe energy rationing measures. With 95% of its energy needs reliant on imports, the country has cut worker hours and limited shopping hours to conserve electricity. Meanwhile, the cost of jet fuel has more than doubled globally, with prices soaring to an average of $195 per barrel. In the United States, jet fuel prices have risen nearly 95% since the onset of the conflict, and the head of the International Energy Agency recently alerted that Europe has only 6 weeks of jet fuel supply remaining. Not a buffer, but a countdown to potential crisis. The Western world may not yet be rationing, yet the margins are rapidly thinning. A scenario now worries economists, the potential necessity of a recession to bring oil prices down. Falling consumer demand could rapidly shake the market, recalibrating the economy but at a severe cost to millions. Inflation in the U.S. has reached its highest monthly rate in 4 years, threatening to double the Federal Reserve's target and potentially stifling consumer spending, which drives about 70% of the U.S. GDP. If individuals scale back their consumption due to rising fuel and food costs, the entire economy could feel the squeeze. In Britain, the Bank of England faces a daunting choice: raise interest rates to combat inflation or keep them low, risking a decline in household finances. In Europe, skyrocketing industrial energy costs threaten manufacturing competitiveness, with companies already contemplating relocating production or reevaluating their investment decisions. Clearly, our possible paths forward are fraught with uncertainty. Scenario 1 could unfold as a diplomatic victory, where mediation by Pakistan succeeds, leading to a deal between Iran and the U.S. This would allow the strait to reopen, causing oil prices to gradually decrease over several months while preventing the worst economic fallout, although prices would likely remain elevated in 2026. Scenario 2 depicts a long stalemate, with talks dragging on and the strait partially closed under Iranian control. Global oil supply would remain constrained, leading to sustained high prices and significant slowing of Western economies without plunging into outright recession, painful but manageable. Scenario 3 presents a grim escalation. Should negotiations collapse entirely, military operations could resurge, further damaging Iranian infrastructure and closing the strait indefinitely. This would resemble the 1973 scenario, thrusting economies into recession territory. Experts at EY Parthenon candidly state that full normalization of supply and energy capacity remains distant, even in the most optimistic projections. A swift exit from this predicament is unlikely. Even the best-case scenario carries a prolonged aftermath. Ultimately, the critical question surrounding the Strait of Hormuz crisis is not confined to financial analysts in tall buildings. Rather, it is a question waiting to be answered at petrol stations, supermarket checkouts, airline booking platforms, and job centers across America, Britain, Europe, and even beyond. History may not repeat itself, but it certainly resonates. Keep informed by subscribing to follow this evolving story. Share this video with someone who should be aware of these developments, and let's engage in a discussion. Which scenario do you foresee playing out? Are you already feeling the financial strain, or is the impact yet to reach your household?